Hello, and welcome to WTF Stories and Advice. I'm Caroline Cranshaw.
Daryl Gove.
And we're back again. And we have a listener letter for you. Yes, I thought this one, I can relate to this particular letter, so that is why I chose it. I haven't really given us any kind of introduction. If you haven't listened to us before, listen to our other ones, but we're two hypnotherapists that like to give advice. We love spooky stories and talking about psychology and just anything and everything. And so, yeah, this is one of our letters. Okay.
Cool.
Here we go. Dear Caroline and Darryl, I'm still in shock and I need help making sense of what's just happened. My best friend of 8 years, let's call her Maya, just ended our friendship. Not over something I did to her, not because we grew apart, but because I didn't celebrate a murder with her. We've always been able to talk about politics before, even when we disagreed. She's always been more progressive. I'm more moderate/conservative, but it never mattered. We were us. We showed up for each other through breakups, job losses, family drama, all of it. But something shifted over the last year or so. She started getting really intense about certain issues, which fine. People are passionate about what they care about. But then she started making comments like, I don't know how you can believe that and still call yourself a good person. I probably shouldn't use that shitty tone.
No, just give it the tone it deserves. I mean, I can't believe she said it friendly, like, I don't know how you can believe that and call yourself a good person. Like,
I know. Or is this, maybe it's a text. Your views actually harm people like me. I tried to have conversations. I tried to explain my perspective. I wasn't going to change her mind. I just wanted her to understand where I'm coming from. But every discussion became an argument. She'd say I was privileged and didn't get it. I'd feel defensive and misunderstood. Then Charlie Kirk was assassinated. When the news broke, Maya texted me almost immediately. Good. One less fascist spreading hate. He got what he deserved. Yeah. I was horrified. I texted back something like, Maya, someone died. He had a family. This is awful. She doubled down, says he was causing real harm with his rhetoric, that words have consequences, and she wasn't going to tone police herself or center the feelings of oppressors. She was posting celebratory things on social media. Not just her, a bunch of people in her circle were basically throwing a party. Yeah, fuck. Sorry.
No, you can swear.
I wasn't a fan of Charlie Kirk. I didn't really know anything about him. I won't launch into my thing, but I was horrified, absolutely horrified. I tried to explain that I don't care what someone's politics are. Celebrating political violence is a line I cannot cross. Today, it's someone I disagree with. Tomorrow, it could be anyone. It's not about left or right. It's about basic humanity. She said I was showing my true colors and that if I didn't understand why she felt relief, it proved my privilege. She said my both sides approach is actually enabling fascism and that by not celebrating this, I was complicit. Then she sent me a long text saying she needed to protect her peace and that she couldn't be friends with someone whose values were fundamentally incompatible with hers. We haven't spoken in 3 weeks now. I know she's told mutual friends her version, that I was defended a fascist and that showed I don't care about marginalized people. Here's what's eating me alive. Was I wrong? I can see now that we've been drifting apart politically for a while, but I thought our friendship was bigger than politics. Should I have just let her vent and say nothing? Do I not understand something fundamental about how serious things have gotten? Or is she the one who crossed the line? I miss my friend, but I can't shake the feeling that I saw something in her that I can't unsee. If someone can celebrate a person's death because of their political views, what does that say about them? And what does it say about me that I stayed friends with her for this long if her beliefs are always this extreme? Part of me thinks if our friendship meant so little that politics could erase 8 years, maybe it wasn't as real as I thought. But another part of me wonders if I should have seen this coming and handled things differently when tensions first started. How do you grieve a friendship that ended over something this dark?
Ooh, I was not expecting that in the letter today.
Yeah.
No, that's a tough one. Let me get right to the nut of this matter, okay? We have to orientate ourselves around who the enemy is. There is a disagreement. Left and right are being pitted against each other. Human to human. Friends. You guys are friends. You've fallen out over this. That's not an accident. People want you fighting. People in positions of power want us distracted by this left and right thing, by cultural issues, so that we don't look up, so that we don't see what's going on. So to start off with, this is what I say to somebody with like an addiction, right? They fall into it like an alcohol addiction or a smoking addiction or something like that. I say to them, like, don't blame yourself for falling into a trap that was designed to trap you. It is your responsibility to climb out of it. And in this situation, it's not your fault that you guys are so polar on your views. And she might be thinking the same thing about you. How could I be friends with somebody like that for so long? The point is you've both fallen into a trap of thinking that the other person is the enemy. And you're also listening to things that enhance your own beliefs that the other person is dangerous or wrong. So it's not your fault that you've both fallen into that situation. Just to start off with, you're not bad, you're not wrong. And she's probably not bad or wrong. Like, either she's probably thinking she's doing a good thing by standing up for what she sees as high level values. What do you think, Caroline?
Well, there's a reason why I picked this letter, because I had a similar thing happen to me, like just over a year ago. One of my oldest, closest friends ended our friendship in a text. God, it makes me feel a bit just even talking about it. But obviously I chose this letter, so I could. Because we had politically really drifted and we fundamentally disagreed about certain political things, certain medical treatments being done on children that I used to be supportive of, and then really changed my thinking around because of seeing the consequences of that. And as a therapist, working extensively with children that were going through that. And yeah, so she basically ended our friendship saying that she couldn't be friends with someone who had the values that I had. And I was devastated. I was absolutely gobsmacked that that happened. I guess what I'm saying is I can really relate. It's incredibly hurtful. I never in a million years thought someone would end a friendship with me over politics after like everything that we had been through together. But they did, and that's their choice. But like, I totally agree with you, Darryl, that this division that is being sown is not by chance. It is being orchestrated. I think that the powers that be, and whoever they are, I don't know who the powers that be are, but are invested in us being politically divided and fighting amongst ourselves. So we don't see what may be happening behind the scenes, or that we don't all join together. Because if we all join together and support each other, anyone who goes against our rights or interests, and I think there's a lot of people that feel this way in a lot of different countries right now, if we all collectively got together, you can overthrow governments. And not that I'm saying that's the answer, but there is a very strong propaganda, orchestrated plan that the more we fight, the more we were divided and fighting amongst ourselves, the more split we are and the less powerful we are as a group.
It's true. And like fights are being picked in every area of our life. And this is what I find really interesting because, as a gay man, I grew up where you couldn't get married, where we didn't have gay rights. I went through the getting of those rights and the acceptance into society. And all I see is going backwards now and I actually think I'm in the majority on this. Gay men don't speak out about it, but we're kind of done with creating fights where they don't need to exist. And politically, I think that's what's happening. They're trying to get us to be tribal. And to be tribal, we have to be all or nothing. Like, either this is completely wrong or it's completely right. Whereas, for example, let's take the gay thing. I think that absolutely, even though we have good gay rights, if we want to have a parade, let us have a fucking parade, right? Excuse my French. But do we need to have naked men and women in that parade? No. Does the parade need to be sexual? No. Can it be a fun celebration of family and freedom and just remembering what we fought for so many decades and centuries to get that equality? And can it be a fun day out for all the family? Yes. Should there be giant penises and things like that? Well, that's a different thing. So it doesn't have to be black and white. And I think politically we are taught to be tribal, that either you're all in on this issue or you're there. I think we've lost a bit of nuance, and it's very, very sad. On the other hand, you're both free, and same with you, and sometimes it only takes one person to decide. who you're going to be friends with. You're free to choose. And if someone has chosen not to be friends with you for some reason, and we can say that they're influenced, but at the end of the day, it's still their free will. And it's just incredibly sad. It's just incredibly, incredibly sad.
Yeah, and I think friendship breakups can be more painful than partner breakups. Absolutely, because it is a more unconditional acceptance, right? They know all your shit and accept you anyways. And when they reject you, you go back into feeling like you're going to be thrown out of the tribe. There's very much in our DNA to look for that rejection. And if we're rejected from our friends or a friend group, that's incredibly painful. And I've been on both sides of this. I've had friends end friendships with me, and I've ended friendships with people. It really, my own experience more recently gave me a lot more empathy for the way I have handled things in the past and what I have done to friends. And it really made me look at myself and think, oh, it's might be a little bit of karma, coming back. And yeah, and do I have a big mouth who is pretty opinionated and says what I think and will argue with people if I don't agree with what they're saying? Yeah. And you know what? I've learned, and this is probably one of my biggest lessons in life, is sometimes I just need to keep my mouth shut.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I can't talk. I argue with people even when I agree with them just for fun. That's been my family dynamic is we'd take a side of an argument and we'd debate it. But
Yeah.
we grew up in a world where debate was encouraged. When it was
Same.
okay to look at things differently. And yeah, yes, you say your views strongly, but ouch, still yeah.
Yeah. I think when it's one thing if you snog someone's husband or, you do something really inappropriate, you hurt their child when you're
In
looking
their
after
plant
them.
pot.
You do something that is worthy of someone rejecting you and saying they don't want to hang out with you. Then you can kind of go, I fucked up. I need to take it on the nose. I was very much the same with the Charlie Kirk incident. I was horrified seeing people celebrate this. It's like, I don't care what your political views are. You don't deserve to be assassinated for them. What world do we live in that people are thinking that this is okay? I find it seems to be a younger generation that celebrates this. Most boomers or older who I've talked to about, especially like the Charlie Kirk thing, none of them seem supportive of that. But I think some younger generations is very much like words of violence.
No. Violence is violence. Words are words.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, I grew up being called names. And it's very different from getting a punch. And it's not that they can't make people suicidal. And it's not that words can ruin people's lives. That's not what we're saying. But actually isn't the same. And sometimes people just need to toughen up a little bit.
And yeah, so my advice is mourn the loss. Be kind on yourself, be gentle on yourself, look at where you can improve. And I'm not saying that you did anything wrong. I had very similar conversations with people over Charlie Kirk. I had several people say to me that they thought, well, he deserved it and he had it coming and he was talking about gun violence. So, that's karma. And I was very much like, it's not okay. Yeah. But I think you need to be kind to yourself. One thing I've learned, I had a really interesting experience. I recently went to Thailand and I was getting a massage and my father passed away last year. What's that?
So I was just, at the same time you're talking about your dad died, I'm like, did they touch you in the massage?
Okay.
Not that time. That's a story for another time.
No, that's if you want to hear a happy ending story, another time in Thailand, you should listen to another podcast. I think it's like Happy Endings in Thailand. Go back and listen to that podcast.
Yeah.
That is not this. So it was probably like the 5th or 6th day we were there and we were getting a massage. And I just suddenly had the strongest feeling that my father was standing next to the massage table. And I'm like, Dad, why are you here? And he's like, oh, I love Thailand. It was very vivid. Obviously my eyes are closed, but it was so strong. It was like he was right there and I'm having a conversation in my head with him. And he did love Thailand. He'd been to Thailand lots of times and really did like it. And I was kind of like, okay, what are you just saying hi? And he said, I just want to tell you, I'm so sorry that I taught you to argue with people over stupid shit that doesn't matter. And I'm so sorry that I argued with you about politics and just because my father encouraged me to debate things. My family very much would debate things for fun. Yeah, we would just be the devil's advocate and take the other side just for the fun of it because you used to be able to debate things and then move on, right? It didn't mean you hated them and you couldn't talk to that person again. It was just like friendly debate and a way of like cementing your beliefs. Like if you can't defend your beliefs well, then how strong are they? And I used to look at debate as a way that you actually could change your political beliefs or revise your beliefs. But I'm having this experience. My father is telling me, because my father and I always agreed politically up until COVID. And then we definitely started having some different beliefs around things. And it got to the point where we argued so badly about it. I don't think we didn't talk for almost a year. And it was actually my mother, who my parents were divorced since I was 3 years old, contacted him and said, "Hey, this is your daughter. You got to talk to your daughter." We're like, "What are you doing?" And he finally did get back to me and we started talking. We just agreed not to talk about it. But he was apologizing about that. And he said, "If I can just give you any advice, don't argue with people. It doesn't matter. You're never going to change your mind. Pick your battles. And I'm just sorry I taught you that. And don't talk shit about people. It's bad energy." And so I am getting this massage in Thailand and I start bawling, crying, right? It was so vivid. And I'm like, the woman's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I can't say, "Yes, I'm having an experience where I feel like my dead father's ghost is standing next to the massage table and telling me he's sorry he debated with me and that I shouldn't talk shit or argue about politics." And yeah, I was so like the massage finished. I got out, we went outside and I'm still crying. And my partner's like, "What's going on?" And so I was trying to tell him, it took me about 10 minutes to stop crying enough where I could explain to him what happened. It was that, like, I was that, like, the real type of crying, and I really have changed my thinking around things. I changed my thinking around it when that friend ended the friendship with me. I just thought, God, I should just agree to disagree and just keep my bloody mouth shut. Some things are just, I won't be able to keep my mouth shut, but you can do it in a way that isn't confrontational. You're just not going to change people's minds. But yeah, it was a pretty profound experience for me. And I just am like really going to try it. I think I need some hypnosis for that, Darryl. So if you could help me.
Yes, I can.
Because it really is, it's something that's been trained into me since I was a small child. You don't agree with someone? Argue, debate, like don't be rude, don't criticize them, don't attack them, but debate. Put your views out there. And I don't think that's the right way anymore.
So debating is an intellectual exercise, right? And if you can
Yeah.
keep it intellectual and score arguments on their merit, it's good. Arguing, and in today's society, we don't debate. Even if we try, it's emotional. When we disagree enough to talk about it, it's driven by emotion. And so the result's never going to work because, as we both know, the second that you disagree with someone and they present a contrary argument, doesn't matter how clever you are or how evolved you are, your prefrontal cortex is designed to protect you from the different point of view, and it loops you back to your own beliefs. People can't hear it. And so, I mean, like, we teach couples and people how to resolve this all the time and how to get around it. And really, it's by being agreeable. Disagreeing with somebody doesn't help, but actually agreeing with them, even if you don't agree, let's say somebody says, and this is an extreme example, it was good that Charlie Kirk got shot. Obviously, reflexively, you might feel a bad feeling in your stomach about that and want to argue. But if you actually want to get through to that person, it's about agreeing with their view of the world in that moment. For example, you could say, "You're right that people are feeling a sense of relief around it because they believed that he was a dangerous person. And I suppose when you think somebody's really dangerous and can harm others, you don't want them around." And then, because you've agreed with them, that then allows you space to introduce your point of view. It's like, "I don't agree," or "I feel this way," or "I think that way." But if you start off by at least showing them you understand their point of view, it disarms them and it allows them to consider your point of view. But again, I'm a little bit like you. I'm a little bit. I'm a lot like you. And yeah, I could argue a lot, but I just tend to avoid it these days. It's almost like my head has got this like, don't speak to this person about that. Don't speak to this person about that, because life's just easier when you don't. But there's some things that are important and we want to, but then other things we're being made to argue about. And why are we even arguing about this? Like, there's just no point. And I think the grieving thing is right. Like, if you break up in a relationship, you can just go and have sex with someone else. I'm not saying that's the solution, by the way, but you can just immediately go and just sleep with someone else. And in my past, I've gone out that same weekend and go, I'm going to get a new boyfriend. I went and got one.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
It didn't work in the long run, but you can. But when like my best friend moved overseas, it took me years to find somebody that I could be that close to again. Like losing a friend is really different. It's something that you nurture over breakups, over the bad times in your life. And you tell them a lot more than you tell your partner because you give each other your burdens. And so you leave yourself so much more vulnerable because you're not worried about feeling unattractive if they see the ugly side of you. And so it's such a bigger wound for a friend to leave. And I'm sorry that that happened. What I will say is you probably have space for a better friend to enter. There's probably space for someone that accepts you as you are and that has more similar values to enter your life. And maybe they're already there. Like maybe there's people just dying to spend more time with you that'll be so excited when you contact them. So I would really recommend reaching out to some of your other friends if you haven't already. And if you don't have that, because I also know a lot of people, they have like one friend. I had one friend in high school, and when he moved away, I was like, fucked. It literally went from 1 to 0. And so making a new friend from 0 can be hard. Think of it like dating. Ask people to do things with you. Go and ask somebody, would you like to go for a beer or a drink? Would you like to go for a walk, a coffee, whatever it is? Treat it like a date. And if they're interested, go for it. If they're not, don't. If you like each other, do it again. That's my advice there. Either spend more time with the friends you've got as you grieve, because grieving company, or start dating new friends, but don't sleep with them unless you want to. And you're single.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it made me open up to some other friendships or people around that had been trying to nurture friendships with me. And so I've got a lot of amazing friends that I've gotten closer to in the past year. And that's been really cool. But I think it's the biggest complaint I hear from clients is the most universal complaint is they just don't hardly have any friends now. Like they only have one friend. They have huge difficulty making friends. My advice to them is there's a lot of groups, like on Facebook, they have a lot of groups. Like if you look up like friendship groups or social groups, and they'll have very much like women of this age that live in this area with these interests. Like there is tons of people all trying to do the same thing. I think, was it Bumble that's doing like a friendship aspect? I'm not sure. They need a dating website for friends.
There is Bumble Friends, but I don't know if you remember. I was on Bumble Friends when I was single, but I thought I was on Bumble Dating. And I went on a date with a guy. We were on our third date before I realized that he just moved and he was just looking for friends, that he was straight. It was a straight guy that moved. I didn't tell you that. Yeah.
I think I vaguely remember. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And then I was like, it's really weird how he didn't want me to pay for dinner. Like, that's weird. Usually guys are like, yeah, thank you for paying for dinner.
Yeah.
And we got on really well. And then he invited me to a party but there was friends there as well. And I thought, interesting as well. Like, you just met me and now you're introducing me to your friends. Or invited me to a party. And it was like around the third date that I don't know how I figured it out, but figured out Bumble had a friend mode and that we had matched there and that we weren't dating.
Oh, no.
So that's you. Sorry about it. No, we stayed friends. And yeah, we hung out again for a while until COVID, actually. Yeah. But
yeah, I think COVID's really screwed up a lot of social groups. But I think also, and this is what I tell people to do for if they're looking for a new partner, but I think you could do it for new friends, is make a list. Make a list of like, I want to meet people that have similar interests with similar viewpoints. They don't have to be the same. List the qualities you want in a friend or the interests that you want to share with certain friends. And I think it's putting it out there to the universe. But I think these events can trigger a lot of feelings of unworthiness or that there's something wrong with us or insecurities. So I would look at addressing those, look at what belief systems do you have that might be holding you back from making friends, or there might be underlying beliefs you can't really trust women or people. There's a lot of trauma from school that people are carrying around that holds them back from making good friends. But I think it's also, you got to put in the effort as well.
that's the biggest thing because we don't have time to put in the effort. But if you want a new friend, you've got to put in the effort and yeah. You've got to ask them. And when people don't respond, take the initiative and then learn also when they're not interested. It's like dating. It's like some people are just busy and they need a little bit of egging on and other people are not interested. But put in that effort. It's so freeing. Like my experience, I don't know if it was like this for you, Caroline. When I moved to New Zealand, I realized that I wasn't going to have any friends. And I told you I had that one friend at high school. He told me that when he moved away to that other city, and again, I was his only friend when he moved away, he said, I got to reinvent myself. I got to be whoever I wanted to be. Nobody knew who I was. And I could be anything. He says, I could be confident. So he became this really confident guy and made all these friends. And so thank you, Andrew Denny. I had his words in my head and I was like, nobody knows who I am in New Zealand. They don't know that I've been bullied and teased for being gay. They don't know that I wasn't confident. And yeah, I had lots of friends in Scotland by the time I moved. I'd made lots of friends, on girls mostly, a couple of guy friends, really, really good guy friends. But when I moved here, it was starting from scratch. And I remember just the excitement of the second that I had a good chat with someone, I'd be like, do you want to go for a beer? Because it was all about drinking back then. And now it's, do you want to go for a walk? Because I love walking. I'll go for a coffee with someone, but I don't really like it. I don't really drink coffee. So it's, do you want to go for a walk? And if they're like, oh yeah, I love walking. Okay, let's all go walk through the forest. Boom, friend. And so, yeah, it's just that excitement of asking, being open to rejection, because some people will not want that, or they might not have time for it, or they're too busy, or who's got room in their life for another friend right now? People are so fucking busy. So it's not about you, but there is room in your heart. There's a void now. And as you'll still have to heal, like making closer friendships with your friends, Caroline, does that mean that you stopped hurting? No. You still had to go through the grief process and heal that. But at the same time, you could get something even better.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it is, some relationships just have expiry dates and they're just not meant to last forever. Or maybe you'll get closer again in a period of time. Things I did to help me, because I was pretty traumatized over this. I just never in a million years saw this coming. And I think it was just so out of left field. And so for something I felt I hadn't done anything wrong. Obviously, she has her own belief systems, and I probably did hurt her or I must have. Obviously, I did hurt her with some of the things that I said and the opinions I had. So one thing I found quite helpful is to do the loving kindness meditation. That one I find really powerful.
The complete opposite. When my friend dumped me and I really didn't think it was fair, I used to get my other friend and we'd sing about what a bitch she was. You know that song from South Park? Oh, let's give her a fake name. Bobby. Bobby's a bitch. She's a big fat bitch. She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. She's a stupid bitch. If there was a bitch, she's a bitch to all the boys and girls. On Monday, she's a bitch. On Tuesday, she's a bitch. On Wednesday and Thursday, she's a bitch. And then on Friday, just to be different, she's a big, 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 mega bitch. Big, 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 big bitch. Oh, she's a bitch. And she likes to be a bitch. That made me feel better. Your loving kindness.
I think it's okay to be angry. It's okay to vent. I definitely did a lot of that. But loving kindness meditation is just
more mature.
It's more mature. You need that venting period. But I think also it is, the loving kindness meditation goes, you put your hand over your heart and you take some deep breaths and it's like, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be safe. I'm trying to remember the exact words. I'll put a link to one I've recorded, actually. It's self-forgiveness for any mistakes you may have made. And then it's, may others be well. May they be kind. May they be kind. May they have, and you put it to others as well. So to your loving kindness to yourself and then loving kindness to others as well. And not to say you have to forgive people. Like, I do believe in forgiveness to let go of things within yourself. But I think sometimes, Darryl and I are on the same page of this, is sometimes you need to not forgive people. If they've really hurt you or traumatized you, sometimes fuck them, Yeah.
Sometimes fuck them, and you can just let it go without forgiving. Just let it go. And maybe forgiveness is somewhere you arrive at in time, but just saying I forgive is it's not realistic. Forgiveness isn't an event, it's a process. And just maybe fuck them, and maybe I let it go for my own peace. Or I forgive you for my own peace, or I release you for my own peace. So you don't have to use the word forgiveness, but it's about letting go for your peace. You don't need to think about it because it eats you up.
Yeah. So the other one sometimes I'll recommend to people who are just to hurting is the Ho'oponopono prayer. And that's an interesting one as well, where you just say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And again, it's clearing it from your own subconscious. It's supposedly clearing it from the collective unconscious, and it just helps shift things with others. And we wish people the best, happy lives. They may not be meant to be in our lives, but I think it is that taking responsibility, we can get quite hateful or angry. And I think that's healthy to go through that phase. But at the same time, I think it's best you just got to move on, and there's room for other people in your life, and it's just not meant to be anymore with that person.
Just be the bigger person and move on, head held high. You're a good person. You obviously care, which is why you've written this letter,
Yeah.
and you can decide are you open in the future for reconciliation? And if you are, maybe this is a doorway you've just opened. And if you're not, I'm not telling you to get dog poo and put it under the handle of her car so when she opens it, she gets covered in poo. That would be immature and bad. Don't do that. I'm not telling you, actually, don't even get me started.
Put bronze through the vents of her car and make it stink. Or what was what I did to someone in high school? I stole a fetal pig from biology and I spiked it onto the radio antenna or aerial of someone's car, and I wrote in lipstick, "You're next." Don't do that.
Don't do that
I think
because you could probably get arrested for that.
you could get arrested. Yeah. And it's just not worth it. But it's okay to have those conflict fantasies. Another meditation you can do is just close your eyes, imagine a cord going from you to her, and that represents any hurt, any trauma, any resentment, any negative energy. And just imagine pulling that cord out and just watching them float off in the distance. And I wish you well. But that can be a powerful metaphor of just letting things go, moving on with your life. And the universe likes a vacuum, right? So that means that you have room for other friends to come into your life.
There's a technique in The Journey by Brandon Bays to help you forgive, and it involves just putting that person on a stage in your mind and just visualizing good things happening to them. And you might not want to do that yet, but at some point it helps you let go of them. Just imagine them winning money and getting a promotion and just being happy. And that really helps you see them in a positive light, and it helps you to let go. It's a really good technique for forgiveness. So play around with a few of these. Let us know how you get on. If you get stuck, Caroline, come on, tell me the name of this book. I broke my rule about not lending clients books and I never got this book back. And it's the one where it reframes everything that happens to you as it's you cause it. It is for your benefit. It was written by a therapist at family in England, and they're from USA.
Wait, tell me again?
So there's a book, and it reframes negative behavior towards you, say from a partner or a friend, as something that you have caused because you've got a wound in your soul that needs to heal, and that it's your fault and not theirs. Not your fault, but it's like you've caused them to behave in that way so that you can heal a childhood wound. And when you see it from that angle, it helps you forgive everyone. It could be called radical forgiveness or something like that. I think it's radical forgiveness.
Yeah, I think you're right. Is that the Collins Tippings one?
Yes. Radical forgiveness. Read that book. If you're stuck, read that book. You won't finish reading it without clearing stuff from you. You don't have to be her friend, but it will help you heal.
That's an excellent book.
Yeah.
That is an excellent book. And that's the way I looked at it in my own experience and what I have in prior experiences. 'Cause it's not the first time she's ended their friendship with me. Okay, what can I learn from this? What do I need to change? Taking total self-responsibility. And how can I improve because of this trauma rather than becoming bitter and angry and talking a bunch of shit, which just doesn't, well, maybe it initially. Yeah, it's interesting when you talked about imagining them on the stage and all these good things happening for you. I remember hearing that years ago and being like, no, I don't want to do that. Fuck no. I want to imagine them getting as fat and ugly and miserable and they're homeless. Not that I really want those thoughts.
Well, you're forgiving them and imagine good things happening to them.
Yeah, wait till you're ready for that. But loving kindness meditation, I've just found it. It's very simple. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. And you just say this, and then you bring to mind someone you might be having. You could do it with a loved one, a neutral one, do it with a difficult one. Hand on heart, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I live with ease. And then think of someone you love, and you can say the same thing. May they be happy, may they be healthy, may they be safe, may they live with ease. And then I would think about someone you're having issues with or someone who's hurt you. Don't do it if someone's like assaulted you, if someone has done something truly horrific. If you feel called to do this, go ahead. But this is for more just misunderstandings. I don't know. Like, I'd like to think I'm enlightened, altruistic person, but I'm also like, those are the people you don't need to forgive, right? Those are the people you unforgive and you get out that anger.
If you can see the positive intention, then maybe it's worthy of forgiveness. But the thing is as well, that the whole thing is it's like a grieving process. There's anger, and then there's a process, and then finally acceptance. And these processes are to help move you towards acceptance when you're ready, but you don't have to go straight there. You can go through anger, you can go through denial, you can go through all the other emotions. But Caroline, I think it is time for us to leave her with all this beautiful information and bid adieu.
And just one more thing.
Except for one more thing.
Just one more thing.
One more thing.
Is she was like, should I have done something different? What does that say about me? Blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't worry. You can't go back in time and do anything different. Sometimes there's the revision technique where you can like rewrite it and see it going differently and in a way that makes you feel better. Maybe she just moved away and you just stopped talking or whatever you want, or that you never had that argument. But I think it's that you did nothing wrong. You can't change the past. All you can do is look at yourself. And I don't think, I had the same conversation with several people. And you can use that mirroring technique of just like repeating, oh, deserve to die? Celebrating?
And if this helps, you're right and she's wrong.
We agree with you.
We agree with you.
However, not everyone in the world is going to agree with the three of us. And so that's okay. And that's what the world's about, right? There's lots of people. You're going to find people who you align with and people you agree with and people that you don't. And we all deserve to be able to have our opinions and to be able to express them in a healthy, kind way. And people also have the right to end their friendship with you. And that's their prerogative. But it's part of life. It's something that happens in friendships. And I think don't take it personal. And there is a orchestrated plan that is happening to keep us divided, to keep us arguing, to keep us mad at each other so we don't get mad with our rights being taken away, so we don't get mad with what's happening in the background. So just know it's not just you. There is a orchestrated psyop that is in the background.
We all feel it. Even if we don't know it's happening, all feel it.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Caroline. And thank you for
worries.
the letter. And let us know how it goes. Write into us. Let us know. And I'm really excited for your future because it's going to be amazing.
It is. And you're going to have way better friends come into your life. All right. So if this podcast helped you, please give us a review and share with your friends. And if you have a story you want to tell us, something creepy or something you're struggling with or just want to get off your chest, write to us at WTF Stories and Advice, and we'd love to hear it.
Stories that you don't want to like tell anybody else, but you want us to read publicly. We'll change your details so nobody identifies you. Give us thought.
Or your secrets. Do you have a confession you need to make? We haven't asked for confessions.
We'll get enough of them, but confessions.
Yeah.
Confessions. I want confessions.
I want some confessions. Yeah. Sounds good. Okay.
Ori.
On that note.
See you later. Cheerio.